Welcome to the Stock Talk Learn and Earn video Q&A podcast. I'm Dave Jackson. What do you get when you combine some of the best uranium geologists in the world, a world-class project in a mining-friendly jurisdiction, and a green energy fuel that is the most reliable and cost-efficient baseload power source in the world? You get Baseload Energy Corp, an exploration company focused on discovering near-surface, basement-hosted, high-grade uranium deposits in Canada's prolific Athabasca Basin. Today, we're happy to be joined by company CEO James Sykes. Thanks very much for joining us here at Stockhouse today, James.
Oh, Dave, it's an absolute pleasure to be here, and thank you very much for that amazing intro. Never heard anything better, so absolutely great.
We do our best, James. Now, to start off with, very simply, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and a history of the company?
Sure. I've been exploring in the Athabasca Basin since 2006 when I cut my teeth with Denison Mines. I was part of the group that originally prioritized what became the Phoenix and Griffin uranium discoveries. After that, I jumped around, but ended up with Hathor Exploration, who at the time had made the Rough Rider discovery. I took all of the available data, drill hole data at that time, put it into a 3D model, and after that, we had learned these structural controls and discovered two more deposits. A couple companies after that ended up with NextGen Energy. And if I would assume that a lot of people who know the uranium space know that story already. Our geological team made the discovery pretty quickly. Within a 12-month period, we discovered the Arrow deposit. So that's one of the largest uranium deposits, unmined uranium deposits in the world as it is now. So I've had my teeth in quite a number of discoveries directly and indirectly. And then, leading up to baseload.
Now, James, can you update our investor audience and your baseload shareholders on any new company developments, especially in the wake of COVID-19 and now the Omicron variant?
We keep marching forward. We do take Omicron and COVID very seriously, but we've got all the protocols in place. We follow the provincial guidelines, federal guidelines, and we make sure that everyone's tested and before they go up to site, so we're not bringing any negative cases in. But with all that being said, we are still moving forward with our diamond drilling exploration program, and that we're hoping to have the drills turning within the next 2 weeks.
Now, you've just reported high-grade uranium assay results from the first diamond drill hole of the recent Akio uranium discovery at your Hook project. James, can you expand on these results for our investor audience? They sound exciting.
They are exciting. They're absolutely exciting. This is why people go to Athabasca in the first place, because it's notorious for high-grade uranium. It's got the highest average grade uranium deposits in the world, and it's unique in its own self. So what we've seen, we've drilled 4 holes for about 1,600 meters on the discovery between September and October of last year. 2 of those holes have now intersected high-grade uranium. We're considering high-grade uranium to be about 0.5 or greater than 0.5% U3O8. In particular, in the first hole that we drilled on the Akio discovery, we had a half-meter sample returning 1.29% U3O8 with visible uranium, and it was absolutely brilliant. It looked exactly like I had seen in other basement-hosted uranium deposits. When you see uranium, though, especially like that, and you're getting over 1%, you know you're onto something. Most of the times, these things really build up, and the results that we've seen so far have just have continued to exceed our expectations.
Well, along those lines, you've also recently announced that you're preparing for a vigorous winter 2022 drilling program. This may be news to many investors. James, can you unpack the benefits of it?
The idea was basically, it makes sense from a company standpoint and for our investors. Right now, the uranium market is hot. It's booming. Uranium was one of the best performing commodities last year, and analysts, even speculators are all saying that it's probably going to be the best performer of 2022. So knowing that and having a recent discovery, we felt that it was necessary to advance Akio as quick as possible. That if we can get pounds in the ground and start working towards a resource estimate by the end of the year, then this will give something that the market and investors can put numbers to and can start properly evaluating what we really have at Accio and with baseload. So we thought this was the best path forward. Now, this winter, we're planning at 10,000 meters with 2 diamond drills, and we're using helicopter support so we can extend our time frame as necessary, as we don't need the ground to get in there. And when winter thaw happens, you rut the ground and you got to get out. So we can be there for as long as permitted with the government. Hopefully, we have amazing results at that time. And if we're seeing greater intersections of what we've had so far, then the idea is that we just expand even on that 10,000 meters. But then getting into the summertime, we're looking at a 30,000 meter drill program, because we've got longer daylight hours, same operation, 2 drills, helicopter supported. So by the end of the year, we're looking at about 40,000 meters. Our drill holes are all less than 400 meters drill hole length. So that gives us about 100 drill holes to work with. And we feel very comfortable that that is what will give us the resource estimate. We're not talking about indicated resource to start, but even coming out with an inferred resource provides the investor community with the information. And I think just elevates baseload to a whole new level.
Now, the company looks set for strong growth in 2022, as we just mentioned a little bit earlier. How are you placed to expand operations, James, to meet the demand?
That's where that resource estimate also comes in, that if once we start building on that, and with a 40,000 meter drill program, that everything starts, we've got a base point to work off, that it's not just year that we are looking forward to, but we're looking beyond the horizon. We are looking to the markets, uranium market demand down the road. Nuclear energy is poised to continue to grow. Demand will continue to grow. Right now, supply is not there. When will supply come back? Nobody knows. There's a lot of mines across the world that have all curtailed their operations, or they're just simply on care and maintenance. How long will it take for those to come back? 12 months, 18 months? Nobody knows. So there is that lag that needs to be considered. With us expediting everything and really trying to grow this and show that this could be a mineable solution, especially in the Athabasca, we think that this is something that can really hit the market and even get into the current cycle, the current uranium cycle.
Now, for company shareholders and potential investors, what kind of future development and progress can we expect at your Shadow, Hook, and Catharsis projects?
Well, Hook, which hosts the Accio discovery, is basically, we've just talked about. So, but we do have some exciting drill targets that we want to hit this summer as well. So we've got a modest drill program in which we'd go around and probably test 4 to 6 different geophysical targets that we think will also yield uranium. You never know until you drill. Geophysics is like geofantasy. You don't know what you're looking at until the old truth finder gets in there. As for Catharsis, quite similar. We're looking at doing a little bit more ground-based exploration. We do have high-grade uranium at surface on a number of showings that are all along the same trend, and especially along a trend in which we recently reported high-grade rare earths as well. So this is a multi-kilometer long trend that we want to get out to, boots on the ground, explore that. But we've also got similar geophysical targets that we want to see drilled on Catharsis, as the idea would be just to showcase that baseload has the ability to make discoveries on multiple projects. As for our Shadow project, it's kind of still in a little bit of the doldrums. We are working in consultation with the First Nations, and that has been ongoing since October 2020. But we remain very hopeful that at some point in the future that we will be able to continue exploration on that project. It was the first project we staked. Our technical team, our whole board really liked that project. So we'd like to see that. We'd like to see things resolved with First Nations and be able to continue exploration. If we do so, we'll fly airborne gravity survey, and then we'd follow up with another modest drill program, about 2,500 meters, 2,000 meters on some of our best targets.
Sounds good. Now, James, what separates baseload from the competition in the uranium exploration sector? And, what makes your business model so unique?
I think it's that we came out with a strong exploration model. We came out with a focus, and we didn't want to be like everybody else. If you look at the history of Athabasca exploration, Everybody's looking for these unconformity deposits, and they don't care how deep they go. They go down 700 meters, they go down 300 meters. But the reality of the situation is, unless you've got a monster of a deposit, being Cigar Lake or McArthur River, which are both very high tonnage and very high grades, over 20% average grade when they started mining, then you don't go into production. Unless, again, monsters or open pits, or you're simply outside of the Athabasca itself. So that was exactly what we took forward. We called it Athabasca 2.0, and that was our exploration model, in which we're looking for these near surface, so open pitable, basement hosted, high grade uranium deposits, which we know exist. Since I've been in the industry, I've seen a number of basement hosted deposits being discovered. But again, a lot of them have that sandstone cover, which you have to get down through, and it's very problematic. So knowing that, we had that thesis going forward, and I think we've just proven it true with Accio. But we've also got what I would consider to be an absolutely strong technical team and a management team. On the technical side, myself, with the experience that I have, and my colleague, Cameron McKay, who's our Vice President, Exploration Development. Cameron's a definite wealth of knowledge and a complete workhorse. He's a great guy to work with. I enjoy every minute that we have together in just building this company and moving it forward. I think between he and I will be extremely successful on the technical side. Management side, we've got Stephen Stewart and our board of directors, Charles Beaudry, Michael Mansfield, myself. But Stephen and Charles have been absolutely instrumental in just moving baseload forward, and great guys to work with, especially with the whole Stephen's org group of companies behind baseload as well, helping out with a lot of management and administrative. But it's a fantastic outfit, and I think we've got everything nicely lined out to help us move forward with great ease, I would say.
Now, segueing over to the financial side of the business, I have to mention that your stock has had a very nice increase over the last 6 months, nearly doubling in value since mid-August 2021. James, what can you tell our investor audience regarding the current valuation of your stock and why you think it's still a good buy right now?
I think it's a fantastic buy. If you see what happened when we made the discovery, when we announced the discovery, we peaked at about $1.50. And when you consider that we listed in June of 2020 at 10 cents, that's a huge increase on shareholder appreciation. But I think we're still valued quite low, and it's a great place for investors to get in. Why I say that is simply because we're 4 holes into Accio. We haven't touched Catharsis, really. We haven't touched it with a drill program, and we haven't touched Shadow. We think there are more discoveries to be made, even on Hook. But growing Accio in what we believe can happen is, again, with the resource estimate, we think that our share price can and will appreciate down the road, especially over these next 12 months. So it's a great time for investors to get into. We're certainly not near the top. I don't even think we're near the middle. I think we're nice and low down here at the bottom. We've got 20 million in the bank. We've fully diluted. We've got about 110 million shares outstanding. So we're very tightly held, fully funded. We don't have to go to the market right away. We can make some great discoveries. We can really grow Accio, and that news alone would hopefully push our share price up. That when we do have to go back to the market to raise more funds, we can do so at higher levels with less dilution. We'll see what happens down the road, but I feel very strong that this is definitely something investors should keep their eyes on, especially.
So what's the long-term strategy for the company moving forward? And what should retail and institutional investors be looking out for?
Continue watching our growth on Accio, really. That's the main driver for us right now. And that will be our main focus. It's basically why that's all we're doing this winter, is just focus on Accio. But as far as that, watch Accio, watch the market, and just watch how baseload excels and performs. I'm dedicated to this trade, and I think that we really have a bright future looking out.
Well, finally, James, if there's anything that I've overlooked, the floor is all yours.
You know what, Dave? I think we've actually covered quite a bit. We've done the history, we've done the future, we've done the now. It sounds like a great Christmas Carol story in itself.
It is
with a positive outcome in the end.
That's everyone. Everyone wants a happy ending, indeed. Now, thanks again for joining us at Stockhouse today, James. Look forward to chatting with you again soon.
Thanks a lot, Dave. Take care.
You too. We've been speaking with James Sykes, the CEO of Baseload Energy Corp. I'd like once again to thank Mr. Sykes for joining us and sharing this insightful information about his company with our Stockhouse video podcast audience and investors. Baseload Energy Corp trades on the TSX Venture Exchange under the symbol FIND. I'm Dave Jackson for Stockhouse Media. Thanks for watching.